Hey everyone, Greta here. Today we are going to talk about how to do a puppy press. Puppy press is one of the more accessible variations in terms of a press up, simply because we are not using as much hamstring and lower back flexibility. We're actually using one hip, the mobility, the external hip mobility of one hip in order to drag the other side up to go all the way up into an inversion. This puppy press applies to all kinds of inversions, supported headstand, tripod headstand, pinch stand, the elbow stand, and the handstand. And I'll be demoing in the tripod because I can talk a little bit more in there. First of all, let us talk a little bit about the structure of how to press, how to be able to press up into an inversion. For the body, the hips want to be as above the shoulders as possible in order to have a more effortless press up. The more the hips are behind the shoulders, the more strength and force you need, and it wouldn't be that much of an enjoyable practice or an enjoyable journey. One of the requirements to have the hips over the shoulders is lower back mobility and also the hamstring mobility. And also, depending on the actual inversion, I think tripod is the only one that you don't really need that much shoulder mobility because the hands are behind or underneath the shoulders. All the other inversions like the headstand, elbow stand, and also the handstand, the shoulders need to have a bit more work. So the strength, the stability in the shoulders are also involved. So in the ideal world, you have everything perfect and you go lift up like that. But in reality, that rarely happens. So when you are ready to try the press up, and if a shadow press is still a little bit too much for the body to handle at this moment in time, a puppy press would be ideal. Since this is a press up tutorial, I would presume that if you are watching this, you are prepping for it, you would be quite stable in your inversion already. So you should know how to warm up for your inversion. So I won't go into that detail. However, for puppy press, we need some hip. So you might want to warm up the hip, either maybe pigeon pose, double leg pigeon, it's always nice. Lizard would be the variation with the toes and your knees pointing away, so it helps you to open. And also another one that I really like to do is the hip rotation. So you can do it laying down, you can do it on your forearms, and this movement. And this is something that we actually need when we are doing the puppy press. So it feels quite good to do it in a more comfortable orientation. And you want to pull the knee in, out, away, and down. This is the movement that we need. Before we actually try the puppy press, I'd like to just explain a little bit more. For a lot of the presses, be it shadow press, meaning your legs are wide, you go up at the same time, or pike press, when your legs are in front of you, you go up at the same time, or maybe a tuck press, your knees are bent, you go up at the same time. Both the hips and the legs are doing the exact same thing. For puppy press, it's different. One hip is doing something else. And that's the part that makes us press a lot more accessible. A lot of times it's the hips that having difficulty to go above the shoulders, be it mobility in the lower body or is it strength and stability in the shoulders, again depending on the inversion. So when we have that obstacle, we want to kind of separate the hips. So hence the puppy press comes in. The puppy press, you actually bend one knee and then use that side that with the bent knee, you hike the hip up. And once that side of the hip is lifted, automatically it will draw the other side up as well, and then you'll be able to press up. And so that is the easier way to learn how to press up. And then eventually, once you get used to it, once the hips know what to do, once the body knows what to do, then eventually you'll be able to maybe straddle press. So let's check out how it's done. So let's set up. I'm doing it in a tripod. And you want to come into a wide leg forward fold. Okay, wide enough for you to really feel that stability in the base. At the same time, you feel there's not too much sensation in the lower back and in the back of the thighs.
Once you're there, you are gonna lift the heels up, come onto the balls of your feet. Once you're in this shape, you want to feel the balls of your feet are pressing the floor away to press the hips up high, as high above the shoulders as you can. Then when you are here, you are going to feel which side is more natural, bend that knee, and then draw the knee and the hip up. So once you draw the knee up, it's gonna drag the hips as well, and then eventually the elevated side would draw the lower side up as well, and then you're floating. That's a puppy press. And then once you're here, I don't know, maybe straddle, maybe butterfly, maybe extend the legs all the way up, okay? And then however where you enter does not mean that you exit the same way, at least not puppy press. So for me, I would take this advantage and work on the negative, the exit of how I want to eventually enter. So let's say if I want to work on straddle press up, I would actually straddle press down.
Start with the natural side, because this does feel a little bit awkward. And if you're like, what exactly am I doing? If you're lost, do a three-legged dog with the knee bend and open up the hip. Or in other words, do a scorpion down dog, and that is the same action. Don't forget to do both sides. And after you are done with both sides, eventually your body would know what to do. And then one day soon you'll be able to shadow press and maybe even pike press and other kind of press ups. And that's it for my sharing for today. Hope it helps. Take it easy.